me so far your segments are B2B. And it seems to me because these are also like early adopters, and there needs to be some kind of like a technical know-how based on what you're saying, right? And it seems like, robotics teams in high schools or colleges, research, the city officials who might have the necessary, kind of a skill set to help operate these kind of platforms, right, in their events. So you need the skill set, and you also need, I don't know, like it's like the overall, a certain type of customer is buying from you, right?
Yep.
So what do you think is the value of segmenting and targeting for you at this point? Because I think, one of the, problems an entrepreneur might run into is that okay, my technology has so many uses. It could be B2C, B2B, right? Yeah. But then when you're trying to please everybody, when you're trying to make everybody your customer, then it just kind of becomes like a spread effort. Maybe you're not really focusing on the right customer. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I think there's, pros and cons, right? I like to think about the founders of Google, they would rather have too much opportunity than not enough. And it's like, who's Google for, right? Yeah, sure, researchers, again, more technically savvy enthusiasts use it. And that's what we're going after. And now we have learned the hard way, so to speak, that, not every customer that we've sold to is a great customer. Like City of Chicago, for example. The developer systems that we sold to them, delivered to them, demoed for them, trained them on paper, work and do what they need to do. But the actual ease of use, and then the off-the-shelf controllers that were the best that were available at the time. You go outside in a vibrant, bright day, sunny day out, and it's next to impossible to actually see the video coming through on the screen.
Okay.
And so it's and we actually just had a little bit of an issue with another developer, HP, that we sold, where we actually modified it as part of the sale with a thermal camera. Those thermal cameras are $3,000, basically the price of the drone itself. And we delivered it to the customer, but with some old components that we're phasing out. And then we brought it back with us to then upgrade those components. Had a little bit of an issue with the soldering on some of those components when we were doing the test flight. The system shorted, and the developer with the thermal camera came crashing down from about 80 feet up. And so we went from we're going to make a few $1,000s on that order to now losing about $1,000 on that order. And so we've really come up with developer being a development platform. We really need to only sell it to people that are going to be comfortable doing their own development, right? So City of Chicago
was not
it, right? We had even universities, right, where they're going to supposedly doing research and development. A lot of them, will just buy the platform and then hey, use this as a show and tell type of piece. Or one of our customers, the one that we actually purchased 3 of our developer from us at that AUVSI conference. They have a $500,000 drone that they've never gone out to fly because it used the same open source software to fly our drones. And it's they're too afraid to learn how to use the software to fly, $1,000 drone, let alone a $500,000 drone, right?
So there's a big friction in this market, learning how to operate these systems.
Right, and that's going back to your question about hardware. It's just especially when it's a vehicle, like a drone, right? It's like motorcycles. It's not if, it's when you're going to crash it. And if you're not interested in learning how to do the repair work, or you don't have the budget to send it back or whatever, then it's just an expensive slow process, right? And so we really kind of refine more and more who are the innovators, and most of those are in the education space. And, and even beyond selling developer is never going to be the drone for anybody and everybody in the way that I think drones will be, right? And again, we're making Omnibot Air to be more of that mass market drone for anybody and everybody. But I would much rather get 10,000, 100,000, a million developer out there, totally from an open source perspective, where they're not even being purchased from us. of course, I would still love, as many as possible to be purchased from us, but I think it's a lot more indicative of our success as a company and Develop Air's success as a product, getting more people into development and engineering and even like the technician sort of repair work for drones. If people are willing to go through the learning curve of building it themselves to begin with, right? And so, if we were to sell, 1,000 of them, but that's as many as we get out there versus, we get 100,000 out there, but we only sell 500, I would rather, get the 100,000 out there because that Develop Air really serves as a foundation. Beyond, like, great that it can provide value to some people now outside of us internally using it as a development platform. But again, it was really never intended to be as a product. It was like, hey, either we can start selling our development platform that we have now, or we're never going to get a drone product out to market.
Right, exactly. So it's important to figure out like the earliest segment they will buy from you.
Yep.
So out of all the segments that you bought, would you say high schools?